Hi, everybody. I'm just going to quickly clean my glasses. So it's Kayla Troutman here. Hi, Kelsey. I'm just going to quick clean my glasses and then I'm going to go live on Instagram. Give me 1 second. I realized
How is everybody?
Oh, wait, what'd you say, Kelsey? Why can't I hear you?
The same side. Hi,
Oh.
how are you? That's all.
Hi, I'm doing great. I realized I have like the dirtiest glasses and I will not be able to cope with this if I leave them this dirty. So, okay, let me get us up and streaming here. So that you guys can share right away and then we'll jump in once we do that. So let's do that. Okay. Hi, friends on Instagram. Give me 1 second while I go live on Facebook. How do you make?
Look at you go with 2 cameras going.
I know, I'm getting faster. Okay, public, go live. Okay, Kelsey, in a second, you should be able to share it to wherever you want to. And I'm going to share it from Facebook quick to our team page too for our team. And I'll make sure the sound gets turned off. So if you hear double sound for a second, I'll get it cleared up in 1 second. Thanks for joining us, by the way, whether you're joining on Zoom, whether you're joining on Facebook Live, whether you're joining on Instagram. I'm so glad to see you. I've been bragging about this great Wisconsin tan that I have. It is terrible weather here, terrible. This is a Cozumel, Mexico tan that I'm sporting in Wisconsin. So it's super fun. So, okay, Kelsey's sharing to her places. I'm going to quick share this. I probably have salad greens in my teeth. I just had a salad. So thanks for joining us wherever you're joining from, and give us just 1 second to share. What do I want to do here? I got to think about what I'm doing.
You sharing it to the Troutman org page.
Thank you. Yes.
You have salad greens in your teeth and I have dirty hat hair. So we're just super cute today.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Troutman. Okay. Okay. If you're joining on Instagram, say hi in the comments. If you're joining on Facebook, say hi. Come say. Okay, did that to the Troutman org. And I have one more place I want to share, and then we're going to jump in. So it's a random time. It is a Monday at 2:00 Central, which would, I've been practicing my time zones, would make it noon Pacific, 1:00 Mountain, 3:00 Eastern, which is kind of a random time. But us mamas could do this before our kids are home from school is the goal, and still knock out a few more things before our workday is over. So wherever you're joining us from, thanks for being here. And again, I'm just sharing to one more place and then we will jump in.
Give me 1 second. Lindy's lost too. So let me just send
Okay.
her.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Actually, I was going to say, I don't see her yet. So I was going to actually ask you if you're making sure she's good.
Should be good. There we are.
Hi, guys. Thanks everybody for saying hi. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're live in all the places. Amazing. Hi, Lindy. How are you?
Hey, good. Okay.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to take a drink and I think we're ready to rock. Are we good, Kelsey? Lindy,
Ready.
good?
I think so.
Lindy, were you out like chasing a cow or chasing a kid? What were you doing?
I just got back from town, and so I had to rush the groceries in, throw the kids in bed, and be here. So I'm winded.
That's even more proof, because that's how it used to look a lot different for me. So this is gonna be really fun, you guys, because I'm going to introduce Kelsey and Lindy in a second. I'm going to go first, but I've kind of graduated out of having littles at home now during the day because my little's in school all day. And it's kind of lonely, honestly, if I'm honest. Yeah. But it's a different season for me. It still means bus, drop off in the morning. We have to go to a bus stop and school pick up. So I have a hard stop today at a certain time. And it still means managing my time and doing all the things that Kelsey and Lindy and I are going to tell you. But it's so fun for me because as soon as I saw Lindy like looking like she just ran in, I'm like, oh, she had kids. And either something unexpected happened, like a blowout, need to change clothes, a wipe my butt, mom, please moment, which is like literally how I built my business. And that's a lot of what we're going to talk about today, is how you too, if you choose, can build an Epicure business to be something that's pretty awesome and pretty magnificent and meaningful around your family. And so we call this Babies in Business because that is really how I started, why I built this. And it's still now why I do it, except my baby's not a baby anymore, but their babies are still babies. So they're going to tell you about that. But I'm Kayla Troutman. If you don't know me, we're recording this. So if you catch a piece of this and you want to watch it back, we've got it streaming. Lindy, if you want to share the stream from my wall or Kelsey's wall to yours, you can do that now if you want. So we'll have it on a YouTube link. Ask your consultant, your Epicare consultant or ambassador who invited you to watch this for the replay back if you want to share it with somebody, or also if you're watching this on our team, we wanted to include you because this really is kind of like a two-part thing today. We're going to share a little bit of our hearts on why we think Epicare is an awesome business opportunity and how you can build it from home. But it's really also applicable to those of you already in our ambassador community on how you can do this. And Kelsey and Lindy are going to give you some really real, like tangibles, how they build this. So I'm a mom, as I said, and a wife. Nate and I have been married 14 years. We just celebrated our anniversary last week. And Macaulay, my one and only little boy, is 7. So he's now a first grader. But when I started this business years ago, he wasn't even a thought. He wasn't in our mind yet. We weren't going to have kids. And so I've been in the industry now 9 years. And when I first started, this was just a discount on food, easy meal planning. I love the products. Today, I'm still like a product of the product. I've got like my protein shakes there. I've got dinner laid out for tonight. That is why I joined, and that is what I loved. And when I found out I was pregnant about a year into the business, I remember sitting at a conference that I went to out of pure just curiosity to like be nosy and see if this would be something that I was at all like interested in building more than just a little extra money. And I remember thinking in that moment, because I had a belly and was just starting to show and knew I was going to have this baby. I remember thinking, gosh, I could build this and maybe I would want to be home. I'm only maybe going to have the one. We didn't plan on having kids. Would I want to be home? And I thought this business gives me the option. Like I remember having this profound moment of like, I could build this, replace my 6-figure corporate job that I have, and I could be home with my son. And I didn't know if I'd want to or not. And I bet you Kelsey and Lindy have moments where they probably go up and down sometimes when you're in the heat of it. But I am so freaking glad that I had the option. I had this little baby business building. I had this little baby team. I loved the products. And I decided to, after I had my son, I went part-time for about 3 months, which really a month and a half of it, I already knew I was going to quit and just be home full time. But I went part-time for a tiny window, and then I decided to work at home full time. And so that's a little bit about me, just so you know the background and why I would be helping lead this call today. I'm going to pass it to you, the amazing director, Kelsey True. I'm going to let her introduce herself and share a little bit about her story, then Lindy, and then we're going to tie this together with actual tangible ways that we build this from home. So go ahead, Kelsey.
Okay, so first of all, disclaimer, if you hear my baby, he is with the babysitter. I keep hearing them through the vent in the floor. I think they're in the basement, like directly below me.
We don't hear him though. Is it noisy on any end? I think it sounds really clear and quiet.
Good.
Perfect.
Okay, good. Okay, so where did I start with my direct sales journey? I started when my oldest, who is now 8, as of today, he turns 8, he was 2 years old. And what really happened was I was working at a doctor's office. I liked my job. I ended up getting sick with multiple sclerosis. I couldn't feel half my body. I couldn't write. I couldn't type. I couldn't talk. So I ended up stepping away from my job to heal. And then they were like, medication or have babies. You can't do both because they're not compatible. So what do you want to do? We decided to hit fast forward on our 5-year plan for having a family. Got pregnant right away, luckily. And from there, all has been good with my health. But I got 2 years into having Taggart. I think I was pregnant. Well, Taggart was almost 2 years old. I was pregnant with Rourke, who they were like 16 months apart. And I just remember thinking like, I love being a mom. I don't want to go back to work, but I want to make money and I want to work. Like I want to work on something. I want to have something extra. I had currently been using Clean Food through a different company and really loved it. And someone randomly said, hey, did you know you could do this? And it just made sense to me to just go ahead and get started. At first, it was a hobby. It was something to do. I had one party a month and just made meals for myself and shared with, honestly, like my sister-in-law and my close family. And it just grew and grew. And then I got a little bit more serious and was like, I understood how much more money I could make with the work I was doing, and really just kind of hit the gas pedal and did it. So now I have 3 kids. I'm still a work from home mom. And my husband owns companies and he's busy, and we have horses and chickens and dogs and all the things, and we travel a lot. And I just love that I really can say yes to everything all the time. And it's a blessing and a curse, because then I am busy, but I love it. I wouldn't want to do anything else at this point.
I love that. And I actually forgot, Kelsey, I just typed it in the comments of the Facebook Live, but I actually forgot that that's how you came into the industry. Was your health initially? I know you love the products. Kelsey, if you follow her on social media and you watch her reels, you know she loves the products, but I forgot that there's such a deep why there as far as what it's done for her health. And then this just fit this window of giving her way more options, flexibility, the ability to provide, like she said, meaningful income that they can spend however they want. But with 3 kids, as they get older, I have no doubt that's going to get more and more and more costly between school and sports and all the things.
Yeah.
Horses, and so that's awesome.
Well, and I think one thing that I don't talk about enough too is I really wanted a way to grow myself, and not, I don't want to say just be a mom, because that's an incredible mission in life, but to actually grow and learn and build and like work through being an introvert and all the things. And so it really has been, there's so many different aspects that it really benefits my life. And I wouldn't want to do it any other way, but I'll let Lindy go next.
Okay. Lindy Elliott, the amazing,
the Lindy.
Lindy. Yeah.
Stop it.
Oh, you're amazing. Okay, go, Lindy. Tell us your story.
All right. Well, I've been using the products for the last couple years. I just like clean eating ever since actually having kids. It's just made me look at what I'm putting in my body, putting on my body, all the things. So like ingredients are important to me. So finding Epicure has been obviously a huge blessing. I hosted several parties before I joined, because I was working full time in town, driving half hour one way to the bank. I love my bank job. Like there are days I miss it for the I don't know, intellectual part of it, I guess you could say,
To adults, you can say it like actual face to face, having to get dressed up and be somewhere and feel, oh yeah, there's a difference when you work at home for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Because like I ran to town today, I put jeans on. Usually it's sweats, but you get it. So was doing that, had my first baby, was still working full time. She was in daycare, no big deal. Then the second baby came along and I just felt so stretched. I was running back and forth. I felt like I was never seeing my babies. And I'm like, this is tugging at me because I want to be there for them. I want to see these like milestones. I feel like I'm missing so much. So I'm like, we got to figure this out some way. Ended up going part-time. Did that for about a year till we had our 3rd baby. And then after that, it was just like, it just made sense to stay home. So I was staying home, and probably about 6 months into it, I'm like, okay, but I need more. Like I need something. And like, this just makes sense because I'm still cooking dinner every night. So why not share it with everybody? Like, this is like, duh, Lindy, like this will be easy. I've been using the products. I'm familiar with them. I love them. Like, why not talk about it and share? Because like, I don't have a problem sharing my favorite coffee or like the best shoes I've got, all the things. So you know what, why not share food? Because obviously I love food. But anyway, so I started staying home, started doing this, and it's just fit so perfectly because I include the girls when I'm cooking, and they like to stir the stuff. There's a few different things like the mini whisk, they each fits in their hands perfectly. And it feels good. It feels good to feel good with the good food and to help people find like fast solutions for their dinners too. So, and I just kind of built it in between pockets of time too. I chase cows along with these kids. I couldn't do it without my husband for sure, but there's a lot of outside time, and I know there's a lot of ranger rides that we take that, if I was working full time in town, I wouldn't be able to get to do those things. And it's just like, I'm where I need to be, and I love it.
I love
So,
that. I
yeah.
do want to give myself a little more credit. I have 2 dogs. Do those count as children now? And right now, as I was on the phone, I was like, or we're doing this, I was like, what are they chewing on? So if you saw me disappear for a second, just a piece of the couch from last week that they chewed while we were on vacation. So it's all fine. It's fine. It's fine. So I actually am very busy during the day watching my for children. They're actually really good dogs, but I don't know what happened. Anyway, Linda, you made me think of something that I don't talk enough about or that I forget to say a lot. Last night I got an email from Macaulay's teacher. He's been gone. We were on a family trip and I was coming back to school and she wanted to make sure I knew that Thursdays Read Across America and they get to bring a buddy to school. So I looked at him and I said, who do you want to be your buddy? And he said, I want you to come because you do the best voices, which I'm going to cry telling you this because I'm not his best buddy. His dad is. They are like thick as thieves. And I'm kind of just like the enforcer and the one that makes us do homework and read. But like, then he wants me to come and do the voices and everything. I was like, okay, canceling Thursday afternoon. Doesn't matter what I have. This is a job where you can say, hey, I really want to do this. This is important to me, but I don't have to do it today. So I messaged you guys are some of the people I messaged and said, hey, we're supposed to have a call. I'm going to Read Across America. We're going to do it at 10 a.m. instead. It's that easy. And Lindy and Kelsey will show up if they can, and they won't if they can't. If they're chasing cows or whatever, they'll catch a replay. This business is so flexible. And the coolest part is it is a career where I get rewarded for being a hard worker. And though if I choose not to work that hard, if like I don't need the money or I don't want to do it, I'm not also punished or shamed or humiliated anywhere. It's like a business where there's room for everyone at the top, but there's also a space for anybody to come in at any level. And that's what's so cool. And I appreciate that as somebody who I love to work. I love what we do. Linda, you nailed it. I love helping people with good food. And I love helping entrepreneurs learn to run a business from home. So I enjoy being kind of that workaholic during the day when my kiddo's at school now, but that's not what my days used to look like. So let's go in backwards order. Lindy, somebody watching this is going to say, oh my gosh, you have lots of littles and you're helping your husband on the ranch and all the things of life, right? There's sickness and there's pets and there's real life happening all the time. How do you do this? Give me some actual, like, what does this look like for you? Either a day in the life of Lindy Elliott, the amazing extraordinaire, or just tell us like some tips and tricks, because I know you're passionate about how flexible it is and what you get to do because of it. But I also know you work hard for that. And I want to really give you the credit that's deserved and give you a chance to kind of speak about what that looks like.
Yeah. So, it just every day is different. I try to do a little routine, but schedules change in the blink of an eye too. So, especially with calving now, like you got to drop stuff and go help cows, whatever, cows get out, all the things. So just finding the pockets of time. And if I so happen to get all 3 kids down at the same time, then I'm like, okay, power hour, here we go. Like all the important things, I'm going to message my hosts or, books, look for some new hosts to book some more parties or, send out my messages, send out my emails that are like my thank yous and my follow-ups. Just trying to really connect with those people that are on my to-do list and just keeping that to-do list close to me and like know what I've got to do and like try to get it done by then. And then, if I don't get a minute during the daytime when everybody's awake and needs something at every second of the day, then I'll do it after bedtime because I'm way more of a night owl than I am a morning person. I mean, I will get up in the morning, but I feel like I need like 4 cups of coffee before I can start functioning. So mornings aren't necessarily my go-to time, but if I had to, I would definitely make it work. And, yeah, so I just kind of stay up a little later and send my messages or schedule my emails. Like Google is amazing for that because then you can schedule them instead of sending a bunch of them at 10:30 at night for everybody.
So I heard you say that you like to do your work in a power hour if you get that, but you're flexible. So you have an ideal schedule you'd like to follow, but when your kids don't, follow that schedule with you, you don't get your undies in a bunch, you don't give up, you don't throw in the towel for the day, you just find a different time, a different way to do it. I also heard you say you use automation when you can, which I think all 3 of us on this call do. And I've been using Gmail scheduler for like 9 years, like all 9 of my years, because I started out working full-time, then went to having a baby at home. And yes, now I'm home during the day, but I'm busier because I have a bigger team and a bigger responsibility load. I use any automation I can. You said one more thing that I thought was really interesting about your work habits. Oh, she noticed how Lindy did not say she sits down at nap time if she gets it, and her power hour starts with scrolling social or catching up. You're not going to hear the 3 of us ever say catching up unless it's like a catch up time we've worked into our day. Lindy's host coaching, looking for more hosts, checking in with her teammates. Like that's a professional. And I want to give you credit for that because why I found it interesting is I think so many times people don't know how to explain their work and what we do, and you nailed it. Like, it's so simple. The job we do is easy and so duplicatable, but you have
Yes.
to do that and not watch TikTok videos. And I say that from a complete place of love, but right, like, raise your hand if in the last week you've watched too many reels or short, right? I mean, well, all of us. But if you just sit down and give it a little bit of time, hi guys, thanks for saying hi. It really does work. So, okay, Kelsey, that was perfect, Lindy. What about you, Kelsey?
Okay, I actually added some things to my notes while you were talking, Lindy, because you reminded me of a few things. I'm just like flashing back to when my babies were little, because I'm just now getting to the part where I can bring my youngest to preschool every morning. And so I'm getting a little bit more of a consistent schedule, which is wonderful. It's like a whole new world. But I'm going back to the days where I was either on a nap schedule or a feeding schedule, or they were all home, or I had multiple pickups and drop offs a day. And I just remember I would take my calendar, my notepad, like to-do list, and my pens with me everywhere. Like, this lived in the center console of my car. I would do a weekly traffic meeting and write down all the stuff I needed to get done. And then this just stayed with me. So anytime I went to like the grocery store, I'd clip the kids in, do a few things off my list, and then drive to the grocery store. And it just was literally 3 minutes at a time, just kind of taking chunks off of my list. I actually was very blessed to meet an amazing family that can babysit for me during the day, which I know is hard to find, but get into the homeschool community. They're the best. But I was able to get a sitter to come once a week for a few hours, and that was life-changing, especially when all my kids were home, because I could shower, do some work, go to the store without them, do all my planning. I could sit at a coffee shop and like work and feel like I could have the professional in the mental space to get out of the house and do that. I had to let go of perfectionism. I had to just say done is better than perfect. It's off the list. I did the action. It's done. I involved my kids a lot. I remember doing a lot of live. I actually have a bunch of memories that popped up this week of Taggart, my oldest kid, on lives with me, and they were a hot mess, you guys, but people love seeing your kids. And I think when you have a toddler cooking with you, like, people are going to watch that for sure. So I'd like to include my family in some sort of way as well. My last thing,
The kids actually usually steal the show too.
oh, absolutely. There were times where he would talk the whole time. I couldn't get him to shut up. Absolutely. I really had to get my husband on board. And I know this can be like a really kind of tough subject, but I had to really sit down with him and talk about, what did we want for our family? Does this job fit in that? And what does my work actually look like? So that when I had work hours and he was helping me with the kids or the dishes or the laundry or whatever, and I'm sitting on my phone, he doesn't think I'm just scrolling and wasting time. He knows that my work involves my phone, or he knows what that looks like. He knows I do live demos, or I'm leaving the house for a couple hours. But getting his buy-in and his partnership with that was key, especially with littles at the beginning, because we were both tired and stretched thin, and we just knew it was worth it to add in this extra thing, and we needed to be pulling together as a team for that. I think that's it.
I love that. I'm sucking on a cough drop, you guys, because I have a dry throat today. So I'm sorry for that. But Kelsey,
Because you're back from the tropical weather.
I know. Getting back from vacation is hard, but look at this tan. Okay. I live in Wisconsin, you guys. So like, we're pasty here at this season, right? So I'm just like, everywhere I go, like, look at my tan. Isn't it great? I'm not even like that, but like, it's so fun to have a little color. Okay. Backwards order. Yes. Nate and I also, similar to Kelsey and Bryce, we had to agree early on that it was always going to be a tag team, because when I would go out in the early days to do a party, Nate was working swing shifts a lot of times. And so 2 weeks on first shift, 2 weeks on second shift, 2 weeks on third shift. Sometimes I'd book a party and the schedule would change in the meantime, meaning he was supposed to be home and now he's not. So we tag teamed finding a sitter. It wasn't a game of like, well, it's your job to find a sitter, or it's my job to find a sitter. Together, who can we get? And so one of the things I wrote down as you were talking, Kelsey, was yes, I used help, and I use help now. And I never want to deceive anyone, even though I'm home full time. My amazing cleaning lady Kat was here this morning and cleaned my entire house top to bottom, which she does twice a month. I have, if we're not going to be around, like someone cuts our lawn or someone snow plows for us. If we can do it, of course, but we're not lazy people. But somebody once told me every minute of every day is worth something. And so you have to figure out for you how you want that to spend that time and what that value is. And for us as a family, traveling and spending quality time making core memories, like tonight's dinner that I'm planning, is important to me. That's more important than scrubbing toilets and folding laundry. Will I do it? Yes, I'm not a slob. I promise my house is clean, even before Kat came this morning. But I think that that's important. I used help. So I'd have to use sitters and we'd have to tag team. We also always set goals as a family. From early on when Macaulay couldn't even talk, we would say to him, we are working really hard. So we can take you on these trips that we go on. And he knows right now, like the last 2 weeks that we spent in Mexico, we were there a long time, 2 full weeks, was amazing, by the way, amazing. And it never lands on me that I forget how like humbled I am by this opportunity and how grateful I am. Like I always remember that, but I want him to get that. Like, it's not luck or chance or the lottery that we won. It's because his mom and dad like have worked really hard, specifically this business. He gets it. So he knows that I have cooking classes coming up that are how we're going to go on the next vacation. Like, and if you ask him, he gets it. He also knows it pays for his private school, because if we're just being real on this call, and I think we can be real here, life costs money. Kids sports and dance lessons and private school tuition. And, you know, if you are one that chooses to pay for your kids' college tuition, like that all adds up. A car when they get to 16, and everyone has varying opinions of what they want to do for their children and how they want to raise them. But, for us, the memory making, in case something ever happened, I would be, to any of us, I'd be so glad that I've said yes to all the things I've said yes to, and they've been funded by this, but not by myself. I've worked really hard and asked for help when needed. So that was the point that Kelsey hit on, is Nate and I are always dreaming together and working together. And Kelsey nailed something else I think is so important. If you want to build this into something, you've got to stop wasting time. And I think that this is such a hard thing to do when you're a mom, because you're tired. So you don't even realize that like the little pockets of time when you first sit down for the night, or when you might have a habit you don't even realize you have, that in the morning you get up and you're so tired. And like Lindy said, you might make coffee and you might do an hour and a half worth of scrolling and mindless things that aren't actually like cleaning a toilet or getting laundry done or working a business. And that might be what you want to spend your time on. Cool. But when I broke it down, when I first became a stay-at-home mom, one of the things I realized fast was my kid was not a solid napper. He is a 12-hour-a-night sleeper. And I knew I didn't need 12 hours of sleep. I mean, I like sleep, but I didn't need 12 hours. So I knew I was going to have a much better shot at a set work time if I picked morning or night and worked in his sleep window. So that's what I've done. Over the last 7 years of his life, I've taught myself to be a 5 a.m. person. And in fact, we have a 5 a.m. club in our team. If you have to do that, there's a team of people that get on Zoom and they don't talk. They're just on for accountability. And that started years ago when I knew I needed someone else to show up and just be on there so it would hold me accountable, because I'm a night owl. Actually, I like to stay up late, but I had to learn to be a morning person to do this business. And so I would spend anywhere from 5 to 7 or 5 to 8 in the morning, a.m., till he got up. And then really I would go to play dates and moms and mimosas. And I went to mops and I did all the things when he was a baby. We sat by the fire. I can remember just countless mornings taking a picture and saying, like, is this what your office view looks like? Because I have nowhere to be, nothing to do but to read to my baby or snuggle my baby today. If he napped, I called it a bonus hour or two. And I would do the projects or the creative things or make the graphics that I wanted to do. But if I didn't get that, I got the core work done that I needed to do in the morning. And that was very much how I built my business. And I think sometimes people need to hear that. Like they think when you see somebody that's had immense success, which all of us on this call have in the industry, I don't ever want you to be deceived and think you're not going to work for it. You're an entrepreneur. You're opening a store in essence, or a business. It's a lot less costly than a brick and mortar. And it's a heck of a lot easier now that people have gone in front of you and paved the path and have the systems and have the tools. But you still have to show up. And so at some point you'll have to navigate for you and your family when that is. And you can even hear in all of us, we all do it differently. Kelsey said something else that hit me. She said she went to the coffee shop or goes to the coffee shop sometimes to just feel a little bit professional. That was something that changed for me. When Macaulay got to about 2 or so, I started having grandma come or working in a little extra time in the week, or when he would go to like speech therapy, I would go and work at a certain coffee shop. I became a regular there. I had a table that basically I always sat at, and it became almost like I was going to work. I found that when I was there, I was very focused. I wasn't thinking about the laundry or the crock pot or the dishwasher to be emptied or the dogs chewing on the couch or whatever. And I would get a lot done and I would feel professional because the baristas talked to me like a business owner. And so I had to trick myself over the years too, Kelsey, to not stay in sweatpants all the time and yoga pants, even though I love this uniform and I love this job. It's different when you don't have any adult interaction. So that was really good for me too. And I did do that. There was one more
Well,
thing.
that's
ahead.
just the point too, right? If you stay home and you see all the chores that you have to do, I really had to learn. And I told Bryce this yesterday, why am I doing dishes 4 times a day, a little bit at a time, when I could just leave it and do it once and be done? Like, I'll do dishes and do a quick pickup before he gets home, start dinner. But during the day, I don't need to be keeping up on dishes and everything. Like, I can do 1 load of laundry a day, wash, dry, fold, do dishes 1 time a day, and then that frees up so much time. You just have to learn to not look at it because
Well,
it bothers me.
And the thing is, would it be any different if you took leftover containers to work and you had a lunch pail? Like, no, you'd come home with
No.
all that stuff. Your kids would come home with their lunch boxes and their homework. Everyone would walk in the door. It's
It'd
just
wait for you.
You got it. It would wait there for you and you wouldn't
Mhm.
see it. So part of it, when you said that, was like a powerful thing in case someone in our team is watching this or you're thinking about joining and I don't want to lie to you and say every day it's easy to not get distracted. But even today, I didn't go out to the mailbox. I have a whole stack of mail I prepared. That would just be putting on shoes, taking the dogs out. There goes a half hour of my life that I'm never going to get back, walking out to the mailbox because it squirrels my brain. And we go out and then we're playing in the snow and all the things. Now, maybe that's what I wanted for the afternoon, but I worked out in the basement. I didn't need to go out with them right now. So I'm like, I will mail those packages when I get in the car to pick my son up from school, trying to do everything the most efficient way. And this is the question I want to leave you with. And then I want to hear what advice these guys have for you. And we'll try to keep this short and sweet. But one of the things that my business coach said to me years ago, when I first became a stay-at-home mom, I had a baby and I was working to make my income 6 figures in the next 6 months was the goal. And I did do it. Within my first year of being a stay-at-home mom, I had matched and surpassed my corporate salary and I've never looked back. Which I'm so thankful for today. So thankful for. But one of the things she said to me is, how much are you worth per hour? And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, well, what did you make per hour at your job? Which honestly, I couldn't tell her. I was salary. So I had to sit down and figure it out. Like, I worked approximately 50 to 60 hours a week. How much was I making per hour? Which actually, when you work it out that way, it was like not that great. Well, she said, now how much do you think you're worth as a stay-at-home mom? And I was like, I mean, millions. Obviously, I'm keeping this tiny, cute baby alive. And we laughed about it. And she's like, but really, like, what do you value your time? If someone was going to come in and do your entire job here, what would you be willing to pay them if you knew your son was going to be raised, with Christian values in the right way, and your house was going to be clean and all the things you're going to do? What would you be worth? And then put that together, your business and your stay-at-home mom, because really, when you work from home, you're doing that. It's amazing. Like Kelsey said, you're not just a stay-at-home mom or a work-at-home mom. It's like this incredible group that you get to belong to when you make this work from home. And it's wild and it's messy and it's not always perfect, but it's an incredible thing. And so we came up with a number. And I, to this day, have a tiny little note on my computer screen. If you see me on Instagram, show my desk, and it has that number up there. And I've crossed it out a few times now and increased it because I think I'm worth more than that now. But I remember when I set the number, it was $199 an hour minimum. For every hour in the day, I'm worth that. My time's worth that. My efforts, they're ace efforts. I mean, I don't always I think Kelsey, you said that, Lindy, someone said done over perfect, 100%. I'm not saying every graphic I make is going to be top notch. I'm not saying that there's not going to be spelling errors or mistakes in my emails, but I'm saying I'm going to give it 110% effort when I'm showing up to anything I'm doing. Even when I'm sick, I think I give it that. And so I decided on that. If you watch this back or you catch this on social, I want you to think for a second, are you getting out of this life what you think you're worth per hour? And if not, maybe something like this vehicle that we've chosen could give you that with your family, could give you that in income or the heart paycheck. I mean, the paycheck of the heart here is the thing that keeps me going every day, the friendships, the time with my son, when I'm reading Across America on Thursday in his classroom, doing the best voices in the room. That is the paycheck of the heart. So just ask yourself, what are you worth? And are you spending your days, your time, your gifts, your talents in the way that you would be proud to do it? So Kelsey, what about you? And then Lindy, what advice or what tip do you have for people?
My advice is you just have to touch your business every day. You can't just do a couple things and then take 2 weeks off and then do a couple things and build a business. And I know as moms, time gets away from us. We our kids get sick and a week can be gone of our lives, truly. You just have to have that consistency of sticking with it and not quitting too soon. So a little bit every day, and give it 6 months, a year, 2 years, and really see what happens.
I love that consistency for sure. I think a chronic thing we see in the industry is start and stop, start and stop, start and stop. And if you did that at your full-time job, you wouldn't get a paycheck in between. You might get fired for not showing up. You certainly would have angry customers or a missed deadline, depending what kind of job you're in, sick patients that wouldn't be getting the care they need, or students that wouldn't be getting the education that they were promised when they joined your 4th grade classroom. It's not acceptable in any job, right? But here, for some reason, I think sometimes people let it be. And I think you're right, Kelsey, the disciplineness of just saying, this is important to me because my family's working on these goals, and I'm going to show up because it matters, like making it a no matter what. And somehow, like Lindy shared, you'll find time to do the work and it will pay off. I know Lindy isn't going to share numbers on here, just due to income disclosures and social media and rules and all the things. But she was so excited when she got her 1099, because a lot of times it's more than what we even realize we're earning from home. We forget because we're doing it with our kids in tow, our crazy dogs, our families are busy. So what about you, Lindy?
I had something and I didn't write it down, but, I wanted to touch, okay, so we're talking about like a lot of toddlers here and kids running to school and stuff too. So I wanted to just come back and talk about babies, like literal bringing a baby home and where to fit this in. Okay. So like I breastfed all my babies and I like absolutely love it. So when you're doing that though, you are sitting and you can't move really. Like you're on the couch and you're scrolling your phone. So what's going to make that like a productive time besides, obviously nourishing your baby? Like you can be scrolling on your phone, but you can be scheduling your post or, we use the Boards app a lot. So that has come in so handy. So, one click and you can have this stuff scheduled because it's so, again, another automated system, I guess I should say. So everything is, we have systems in place to help this and make it easier for busy moms with one hand and, a lap full of babies, or when you're nap trapped and
no, thank you.
just all the
No
things.
touch. You come up, but no touch. Here, let's put ice cream together.
Thank you. Let me think about it. Well, that was actually a tip that I heard from one of my teammates too. She had recently had a baby in September and she has been consistent every month since then. So I asked her earlier today, she's also a full-time teacher. And I said, and she's got 2 kids at home. I said, what did you do in those times to be so consistent? Because, I knew she had a baby, she was on maternity leave. I didn't she didn't really ask for help or nothing like that. She was just very consistent with her job. I guess it is a job here, I guess, if you work at it and, you get paid what you work. But anyway, that's pretty much it. There's no ceiling here. And, you put in the effort, you put in the work and you'll get paid.
Yeah.
Did you say nap trapped? Because I feel that I've been nap trapped before.
I remember when I think it's always like the season you're in, you feel like you see other people more in it, right? So when I was home with a little, I felt like I would notice all my mom friends posting on social about what they did during like their breastfeeding or their bottle feeding or their nap time or whatever. And it was so interesting because so many of my friends would shop Amazon. And I remember seeing so many memes like, oh, these are all the midnight feeding boxes showing up like 2 days later, and I remember thinking, I don't have time to shop on Amazon because I'm host coaching at 2:30 in the morning, but it literally has built my family's dreams. Think about that. A little bit of time in the middle of the night. I called it the sticky note rule. I didn't go to bed without a sticky note on the counter because I did not like being woken up. I loved my baby, but I hated middle of the night. Like some mamas are great. I wasn't. And my husband was working. So of course I wanted to get up, of course. And once I was up, I loved my baby, but I'm just going to be honest. Like I would get up, like I'd almost be angry for the first 3 seconds of the standing on the ground, like annoyed. Right. But if I had the sticky note on my phone, I found myself not annoyed. it was like I was thankful for little Macaulay getting me up. I'd feed him, he'd be smiling and cooing at me, and I'd be one-handed sending a misspelled message probably to a host who loved when she got up the next morning. She's like, were you up feeding Macaulay? Like, that's so funny. Yep, sure was. Like, what do you want to do? Greek or Asian? Like, what menu are we doing? Like, I mean, like, that is literally how I built my business. It's not fancy or hard or some magic wand secret that I have for you. It's just like I showed up in the moment, and I did show up consistently. And the sticky note would just have simple little things I could do one-handed, but man, did I get stuff done that way. And also it gave me purpose, because otherwise I know feeding your baby is so important, but some of us just, it's not this like motherly instinct that we get up and we joyously skip to the bedroom across the house to be up in the middle of the night. Like, I did not like it. And so I just think it's important to say, like, some people do, I didn't. That's why I have one child. And so I really did find those little tips and tricks too that, and again, this is important to note, I didn't make these things up over time. Other mamas taught me or shared a trick or a tip. And that's the cool thing about being in our industry is everybody shares. The income is unlimited, like Lindy was saying. And also the tips and the help are nonstop. There's one black and white beauty there. I think horses would be less work. I think I should have opted for that, Kelsey. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. They're so awesome, but they ate the couch. Like, do I need to say that again? They ate the couch. It's fine. Everything's fine. I just tell myself it's fine. Okay. Any other thoughts or comments before we wrap up?
I just really want to encourage people, if they are in this place where they want to try something, but they're worried about mom guilt and they're worried about like, oh, but I'm taking time away from my kids. And I think we really have to put a value on, you can be present, but you also have to schedule your time so that when you are working, so that you can turn it on, you can turn it off. It's scheduled, it's ready. So you can have both, but you don't have to 100% do everything all the time. I think we get into this like multitasking wheel where we're doing everything all the time and we just get burnt out. So you can take the time off, like Kayla was saying on Thursday, to go do the school thing and be present and be there for all those special moments. But then you have to also have your office hours where you're 100% doing your work. And I think learning, it's not about balancing. I actually hate when people say balance, because that assumes you're doing everything all at once, like both things, all things. And it really is this, then this, and putting your focus on one thing and then switching and doing the other thing. And I just really want people to feel encouraged, like you can have it all, you can do it all.
I saw Kim said in the Zoom chat, she said time blocking is so important. Time blocking to me felt like prison years ago. Like, I was like, stop saying time blocking. Time blocking has changed my life. Like, it literally has changed my life. Every part of today was blocked in. So I would get a workout in and I would make a lunch and a breakfast. Sounds silly, but I'm the kind that would rather spend all day in the office than do anything out here, including feed myself. And so just like knowing I've got a half hour here for breakfast and I had an hour lunch break where I did do a little laundry and I tidied up just like a regular, like if I worked a 9 to 5 and I was coming home quick for lunch and I might throw a load of laundry and I use that time. So I get a mental down break too, but time blocking is such a good thing. And yep, she said, otherwise I spend half my day doing everything that isn't like actually what you're supposed to be doing. How many of you like open Amazon packages or you're cleaning your pantry suddenly and you have no idea why you're cleaning your pantry, but that's like a good activity on a Monday morning. So point is, it's easy to get lost. And I think that's really important. My best tip for you before we wrap up is to give it a shot. It's $25 today and tomorrow to join our amazing ambassador community. What do you have to lose? And if you don't love it, you don't love it. But for $49 9 years ago, I never would have dreamed this would be my life. Like, this isn't what I was headed towards. I went to school for business. I got my degree. I pictured always working outside of the home and my husband and I both doing that. And never did I think we'd have a second property where we'd go on the weekends in the summer. Like, none of that was what I thought, but God always has a different plan. I feel like, or his plan's the plan that's going to come through. And sometimes these opportunities are these little like winks or nudges that land in your lap and you're like, should I do it? Should I not? For $25, I can literally say to you, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And maybe for you, that is time home with your kids. Maybe for you, that's something just for you to own. Maybe for you, that's money or travel or just having something that you can say, I did it. Oh my goodness, I made it. And I want to share a quick story before we wrap up. Not only is Kelsey and Lindy, like, they're phenomenal and they've grown an incredible organization here, but I have the pleasure of working with right now, someone that's had, I'm not going to say her by name, but she has had multiple other business experiences elsewhere, and she's about to hit leader in our company. She's newer to Epicure. She's not in my direct downline, but within my greater team. And in working with her, I've really realized something so cool that I want to share with you guys. And that is every person I talk to says to me at some point, if I get the chance to connect with them and they're in our team, they say, I'm so glad I joined, because this isn't anything like I've experienced before. No matter how many other businesses I've done, I'm having real success in making real money, like Lindy shared, and like she crushed her entire fast path and has helped many of her teammates do the same, but also the community and the collaboration and the fun. Like, this isn't something we have to provide on a Monday afternoon. Lindy and Kelsey wanted to do this. Like, that is what you're joining, something that's so cool. The impact and the movement here, that alone, I feel like should compel. If you're somebody who loves helping people, you're somebody who feels excited about the thought of making change, like, this is a really cool opportunity for $25. So anything else, ladies, I didn't say? Okay, awesome. Go find the consultant that invited you, or circle back to the person, whether that is Kelsey or Lindy or myself or someone else. Let them know you're in. We'll get you signed up. We'll get you started with our 20 steps to getting started. And we've got a fun couple months planned, with conference around the corner and some big announcements coming. We're going to find out where our next incentive trip is, and you can run for the sun with us from the start. And so while we're talking about being home with our babies, it still is okay to want to earn a vacation with your spouse and get away for a couple of days too. It's kind of perfect timing. So hopefully this blessed you guys. Kelsey, Lindy, thank you so much for leading by example, doing this with us today. Have a great rest of your week, you guys. God's blessings, everyone, and we'll see you soon. Bye, friends. Hey, Instagrammers, thanks so much for tuning in.